honest and let's just be real. If I see somebody walking around like that, I'm going to think they look ghetto. They look ratchet as hell. And that's just what everybody else is thinking.
I may be young, but I'm ready to give you all my love.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Michelle Amoré, and if you are new here, hi, hello, welcome. So I'm gonna just go ahead and dive right into it. Today's video is gonna be on the whole issue about Monique and the criticisms that she gave about Black women wearing inappropriate clothing in public. And I'm just gonna go ahead and give you guys my commentary and my viewpoints on it. But before I dive into that, let's go ahead and watch the video. If you've already seen it, please go ahead and fast forward, and I'll go ahead and begin my commentary there.
Y'all, some of y'all have given me the title of auntie. And I'm honored that y'all do that, right? But there are times where auntie gotta talk to her babies and say some real shit. So yesterday, I was in the airport in Atlanta. When we got to the airport yesterday, I was excited, like, all right, baby, let's go get him in Jackson, Mississippi. And as we began to walk through the airport, I saw so many, actually too many to count and too many for me to tap. But I saw so many of our young sisters in head bonnets, scarves, slippers, pajamas, blankets wrapped around them, and this is how they're showing up to the airport. And I've been seeing it, not just at the airport, I've been seeing it at the store, at the mall. I've been seeing sisters showing up with these bonnets and headscarves and their slippers. And the question that I'm having to you, my sweet babies, when did we lose pride in representing ourselves? When did we step away of let me make sure I'm presentable when I leave my home? The babies that say auntie to me, please listen to auntie. Always have pride in your representation of you. It's not to get a man. It is just your representation of you, my sweet babies. So I'm just giving y'all a warning. If I see you in the streets, in the airport, in the Walmart, and you got a bonnet on and you got slippers on and you looking like what the fuck, Aunt Nikki gonna tap you and say, hey, baby girl, show you what you worth. Represent you with pride, my babies. And that may be a part of us helping our community. Because if you look like you don't give a damn, how you gonna be treated?
You know, when I first saw this video and saw everything that everyone had to say about it on social media and everything, my first reaction to it was like, why has common sense become so controversial? Why are things that are really just should be known and should be understood so debatable nowadays? We as human beings understand the idea of what's appropriate. We know what's appropriate for work, what's appropriate for church, what's appropriate for the club. We have that understanding. So why then is this situation so different from everything else? And you know, I really wanted to take time before even creating this video to really look at the situation from both viewpoints. But I think honestly, because of how I've been raised and just the different experiences in life that I've had, it really just caused me to look at the situation like black and white. Pajamas, bonnets, scarves, those are things that we wear to go to sleep, not necessarily to go to work or to go to the club or anything like that. So I don't know why the situation is so murky for so many different people. And the point of this video isn't to try and change anybody's perspective on the matter, because the truth is, if you are one of these people who go out in public and wear your bonnet and stuff and just have no sense of caring about how other people perceive you based off of how you are dressed, this video is not going to do anything for you. I think these are values that are instilled in women from young. These are things that are instilled by your mothers. When your mother says, no, you can't go to church looking like that, go comb your hair and put on a dress and clean your shoes. You know, these are just things that you learn growing up. So I don't know how you then enter into adulthood and it's really easy for somebody else to change your perspective. So that's not my goal in this video. And for women who know that's not acceptable behavior and don't believe that's acceptable behavior for them, my opinion on the matter is really like what what you already know. But what I'm really concerned with this whole topic are for our growing Black women, young girls who are being inundated with information and messages from the media, from pop culture, and from the women and the Black women that they see in their daily lives. This is who this is for, and this is why I feel like it's important to speak up, and for women who have similar opinions and viewpoints as me to go ahead and speak up and caution your younger sisters, caution your nieces, and so forth, because it matters. I truly do believe in the idea that we should all be able to live our lives in the way we want to live it, as long as it's not bothering and hurting anybody. I truly do. Do you? But I think my biggest issue with this situation is this idea that how I choose to dress and present myself as a singular Black woman does not affect my sisters around me. And I think that kind of mentality is extremely detrimental and is only hurting our community. Whether we like it or not, human society is one that's based off of community. And with community comes the perceptions that we have of different communities. As much as we really hate to acknowledge this and wish it might not be the case, before even talking to anybody, we already judge them based off their looks. And it doesn't have to be an intentional act of judgment, but at the end of the day, we do subconsciously have preconceived notions of individuals prior to even interacting with them. For example, I'm from Houston, Texas, down south. If I see a white male with a cowboy hat, cowboy boots, and a Trump sticker on his truck, I'm going to think he has certain political viewpoints. It's just based off of how he carries himself and the kind of messaging that his appearance is giving off. And I think as Black women, we should definitely be cautious of the kind of messaging that we're putting out to society about ourselves. And to me, it sounds extremely hypocritical that we'll be the same group of people who will go around and call ourselves queens and say all these amazing, beautiful, uplifting things about each other. But we can't hold ourselves accountable in areas like this where some of us fall short. Why is accountability so difficult in our community? Why is speaking truth so difficult in our community? Like, if I go out in public, for example, I'll go to H-E-B sometimes and go do my groceries and stuff, and I will see Black women in bonnets, literally wearing like an old t-shirt and some Cookie Monster pajama pants and some big fluffy slippers, literally looking like you just got out of bed. I'm so sorry, but I'm not speaking to a person like that, because clearly you're communicating to other people that you don't have self-respect, that you don't value yourself, and you don't value how other people look at you. And I think that's extremely problematic. There is definitely something wrong with that, and I think we need to be real with ourselves and we need to be honest with each other. There is something wrong with choosing to leave your house looking in a manner that's inappropriate for the environment that you're going to. And Miss Monique over here talking about, tapping people on their shoulder and stuff. Listen, if I see somebody in a bonnet and their sleepwear, I am doing nothing but staying as far away from them as much as possible. If you're showing the public that you don't care enough about yourself to put on some decent clothes and present yourself well in public, I know damn well you wouldn't care to go off on me if I were to talk to you about your appearance or suggest that maybe this isn't an appropriate choice of clothing for you to wear in this environment. And I ain't trying to be in no fight. I am not trying to get hurt or nothing. So that is definitely not something I'm going to ever do. You can go ahead and live your life the way you choose to live it in peace. Don't worry about me tapping you on your shoulder. But I do believe that it is important in this platform that I have to be honest and share what I believe is truth about this situation and truth about how it reflects negatively on us as individuals and us as a community. Let's just be honest and let's just be real. If I see somebody walking around like that, I'm going to think they look ghetto. They look ratchet as hell. And that's just what everybody else is thinking. And you don't even have to be a Black person for me to feel that way about you. If I see a white person wearing pajamas at freaking airport, I am going to think something is off about you. I am going to think that you're extremely ghetto, you're ratchet. That's the kind of messaging you're putting out with the way you carry yourself. And I think what really throws me off about this entire situation, and especially with what I've seen on social media, is that I will see influencers and people that I know damn well would rather be caught dead than in public with a bonnet and their pajamas, sitting here saying, people should be able to do what they want. If what they're doing isn't bothering you, what's the problem? Da 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 da. Okay, so you, sis, why don't you go out in public in your bonnet, in your pajamas, and carry yourself anyhow and not even care about how other people perceive you? Now, see, when it comes down to somebody else, you don't mind saying whatever needs to be said to satiate people and not receive backlash and not be canceled out of fear of what people would do and what the repercussions of speaking the truth would be. But why don't you yourself carry yourself in that way if there's no problem with it? You see, my issue with influencers, or some influencers, and just the culture that we have today, especially with cancel culture, is that people are too afraid to say the truth that they know is the truth out of fear of the backlash and the implications that they'll have for it. And as a result, we're in this sisterhood of failure where we're telling each other sweet lies, the things we want to say. Hey, queen, yes, you're a queen. In a bonnet, in pajamas, whatever the case may be, girl, you a queen. Not telling each other the truth, not trying to seek the best out of each other, out of fear of the repercussions that might come out of it. And to me, I think that's extremely cowardly, and I think that's extremely low. Honestly and truly, the people that love you the most are the people in life that are going to tell you the truth, regardless of how it's going to feel. It might not exactly be what you want to hear, but you know it's what you need to hear. And you know that person is saying it out of love because they want to see you do well and they want to see our community do well. Those are really the people who have their intentions and their heart in the right place. But people who lie for the sake of public imaging and peace and not receiving backlash, those are people that I'm really scared of, because those are people that will really lie to you and see you kill yourself, but continue to tell you those sweet lies and those sweet nothings so that you remain in their good graces. Now, I'm Nigerian American, and when I look back at pictures and photo albums that my mom has from back in the 60s, 70s, and how women back then, and my mom didn't even grow up rich. My mom grew up pretty poor, but even with the little that they had, they made sure they were clean. They made sure that when they walked out and left their house, that they carried themselves in a dignified manner. They did their hair. They did the little makeup they could. They wore clothes that were clean and looked well. And these are women doing this with nothing. Some of these women are out here in bonnets in public with $400 wigs under it. And for me, it's just such a contradiction. It makes absolutely no sense. And it's like, where did our pride go? Where did our self-respect? Where did our dignity as Black women, as people go? And it's really funny to me that it's like some people in our community want their cake and want to eat it too. You can't carry yourself like you're just anybody and just carry yourself in such a trashy manner and expect people to treat you with respect and treat you with dignity. Obviously, a good person will treat you with respect and dignity regardless of the situation. But let's be honest, dress the way you want to be addressed. When you're meeting people and interacting with people you don't know, put your best foot forward. Show them, hey, I'm someone that takes care of myself. So you don't come around and treat me any type of way because you really got it messed up with me. And so when I think about policies that certain restaurants might have, for example, sometimes you'll see different dress codes that some fancy steakhouses and stuff will have out. And they'll say like, no slippers, no this, no that. And like, they'll have restrictions on dress codes. And we know that it's because of a certain group of Black people that come into these types of establishments dressed inappropriately. And I don't want to just confine it to Black people, because I know I definitely do see people of other races do that sometimes. But let's just be honest here. The majority of people I see and that we see as a community are people who happen to be Black and come into these establishments dressed inappropriately. Why are you coming to a formal environment in flip-flops and overly revealing clothing as a woman? It's a problem. And so we turn around and say, oh, these dress codes are discriminatory. You're trying to target Black people. Like, what do you want? Do you want to be able to dress and treat yourself any type of way and just take the repercussions and the implications that might come out of that? And this is not to say that dressing in a respectable manner is going to eliminate the effects of white supremacy. If a white supremacist already has a certain predisposition to Black people, they're going to have that. Nothing you wear, nothing you say, no way you carry yourself is going to protect you from that. But irrespective of that situation, we should have pride in the way we take care of ourselves and the way we present ourselves to public for our own sake. And quite honestly, if it was me like a year or two ago, I probably wouldn't have cared enough about this topic to go ahead and make and film a video on it. Because at the end of the day, how you want to carry yourself is how you're going to carry yourself. Nothing I will say or can say will ever sway or change that. But however, I think as I'm stepping into this season of like marriage and the idea of being a mother soon and, you know, having my own daughters and raising my own Black children, this stuff really does matter to me. And it really does matter how my future Black daughters and sons are going to be perceived in society, because the way we're perceived is how society interacts with us. And at the end of the day, I respect every person's individual decision with how they choose to live their life. But my only desire is that as much as we're giving people space to say bonnets are okay, leaving your house in pajamas and stuff is perfectly fine, let there still be space for people who have an opposing viewpoints and opposing narrative. Let our young daughters and young sons be able to see different perspectives and then choose. And I'd rather it be that situation as opposed to them being bombarded with a specific narrative and not being exposed to other ideas. Black girl, it is okay and it is perfectly acceptable for you to leave your house with pride, for you to care about the way you look, for you to care about how people address you based off of how you are dressed. No, decency and self-respect is not out of style. It will never go out of style. Class, elegance, carrying yourself in a dignified manner is always going to be in vogue. At the end of the day, this is my opinion. I know out of the love that I have for myself, I will always leave the house, even if I'm not looking like a complete baddie. I will definitely look presentable and definitely look ready to run into anybody, whoever that person may be, because I have respect for myself and I value the way I carry myself, and I value people having a positive first impression of me. So I know this message will definitely fall on some deaf ears, but for people who have more open hearts to this topic, please share this with younger sisters, with nieces, cousins, young girls that you know in your life who personally do need to see that no, it's okay, sis. It's okay to carry yourself with elegance. It's okay to carry yourself with confidence. And for other women out there, other Black women especially, please continue to be a positive role model and mentor for the other women and the other young girls in your life. Little Black girls are in dire need of positive role models in this current society. And the more we step up as women, the better for the next generation. Thank you guys so much for listening to this video. Please go ahead and give this a like, share, and thumbs up. Comment down below your opinions on this topic, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.
You a bad girl and your friends bad too. Oh, you got the swag, saucy drippin' swag, do. You a bad girl and your friends bad too.